performers and presenters and also audience. After the election, the recent presidential election, I asked the director at the museum if we could start hosting an open mic here to try to generate some creative energy in the community to balance all of the dissension and struggle that we're experiencing. And that's how we started the open mic. And my inspiration for it was Joan Baez, great folk singer from the late 60s and 70s. And she was always a social activist and a pacifist, and she contributed to the movement with her creativity. So today we have three features. Louise Derry Wells from Middleborough and Rich Berg from Easton, and also Mike Lariano from Fall River. And then we have a number of people presenting 7-minute presentations after the features. And there will always be water on the table at the back, and the restrooms are in the corridor out here if you need them during the open mic. So Louise Derry Wells is a poet and psychotherapist from the Middleborough area. Her work speaks of the connection with forces of nature in modern mystical practice for healing and transformation in individuals, families, and communities. It sounds very congenial to what my goal is in having this open mic. Modern mystical practices, mystical means putting us in touch with the oneness of all creation, my definition. Modern mystical practices are based on universal symbols and myths. They are creative and spontaneous rather than traditional or bound to an indigenous or native culture. Louise will read poems written to evoke altered states of consciousness. So there's a little promise in that, hey, to help empty herself to merge with the healing patterns and energies and which speak to her development as a shamanic person. And if you don't know what shamanic means, maybe Louise will explain to us.
I probably will not be able to explain it. I've never worked out an explanation for that. Thank you so much. I will project my voice.
Perfect. It's a good practicing opportunity.
Yeah, it's good to practice that. And before we begin, I'm going to give Ethel a gift. Ethel,
Yeah.
I have something for you. This is a spirit owl. And spirit owls are very important to shamanic people because they betoken the ability to see in the dark. And shamanic people, that's our purpose, is to be able to understand what other people don't see, but which lives within us and behind us and underneath us, and informs many of the decisions we make in daily life. So I'm going to give you this, Ethel,
Thank you very much.
in hopes that that energy will come to you, because I can tell you're very excited about it.
Is this my folder or yours?
This is your folder underneath.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. I'm going to send this picture around because my path in healing started with a meeting as a child with a Kansa, meaning from Kansas, a native person, First Nations person, who married into the Penobscot tribe, and I was just 5 years old. And my dad brought me on a trip, on one of our many family trips to Maine. And I was so, you can tell, I'm so impressed by this visit with him. And he was so kind to me, let me wear a war bonnet. Of course, you know, children don't normally wear. So I'll pass this around if you'd like to see it. But that's where it all started. I think there was some energy that came from that man, and I have a poem in here about that. So I'm going to begin with a poem that talks about the spiral, which is a basic pattern in shamanism. And as we all know, the spiral is about development. And shamanic people endeavor to foster that in everything and everyone they meet. Shamanic practice is a 24/7 endeavor. As I walk through my life and I meet people, the energy is always moving, and I try to bring healing into every situation I can. This is called the spiral. Ancient emanator, course of the sun, waxing and waning of the moon, whirlwind and whirlpool, rolling thunder and lightning, birth and death, growth and decay, increase and decrease, the dynamism of nature, the cycle of the seasons, the rotation of the earth, the great generative forces, center of power and life, the swarming of bees, the whorls within seashells, the spinning and weaving of the web of life, the realms of existence, the enfolding and unfolding of the universe, our ways of being, the wanderings of the soul, our return to the center. This one is about my meeting with Chief Pula. Indian Island, summer 1956, Old Town, Maine. A small child of 5 years smiles proudly from a faded color photograph in her Indian feathers, holding a war club, standing along Chief Pula, who bends over this little girl to look at my dad's camera. I stood there in my long braids, checkered shirt, cuffed denim pants, and Buster Browns, while Chief Pula reached upward unseen to place my star in the sky. He was kindly, wore a large headdress of some other tribe, for the cameras of tourists, to them a performing Indian, to quell the fears of the town of whites on the far side of Indian Island, where no bridge was built in fear drunken Indians might be found on lawns at night. Chief Pula's wooden teepee in red and white, our own image of Indians, still stands on the bridge over Indian Island. Last evening, my now ex-husband and the new wife he found 1/4 mile from Indian Island, while I at home still held the faded image of our marriage, smiled uncomfortably into my camera. Later, in a motel room of that old white town, I left a star-shaped jar of blue bath salts as an offering to that wondrous day in the life of a child and another ending in the life of a woman whose star had fallen from the sky. Time has gone by, and it's hard to understand the nature of stars and the nature of destiny, and a meeting with Chief Pula, a bridge between worlds who reached up unseen to place a child star up in the sky. It is hard to understand the path of a falling star. And through how many universes it must travel before Chief Pula will capture it and place it up in the sky once again. Now, in my mystical practice, it's very important to be empty as often as possible, which is a bit of a paradox since we're all supposed to be present and accounted for. But with shamanic people, our goal is to bring wonderful things to people, and we have to be open channels for that. So this is a poem about how my mind works. It's a very intimate poem, and you're going to be a little surprised. In my mind is the letter E for eternity. I pushed that letter over and watched it roll down the hill for a very long time. I climbed inside of it just for the ride. In my mind is infinity, a figure 8 blown over by the wind. I love images, but ideas I never take seriously. Like stamps, I paste them in a book and never look at them again. In my mind, it is empty like the letter O. That's a lot of O's. I guess it's really empty, like the inside of a bone or a whistle. You see, I don't really live there in my mind, but I know every molecule that passes through to somewhere else. My mind is a playpen, but I live in my heart. This next poem is about the trials that shamanic people go through. I've had a lot of trauma in my life, as many shamanic people have, as part of this emptying out process. And the quality is surrender, and that's a very important experience that we have. This is called Rings of Fire. It's a little gruesome, but bear with me. I passed through 3 rings of fire and became fire, became myself in the blowing of a hot wind that burned away almost everything I was made of. Through the first of the 3, I flew, so quickly that just the hairs of my body singed away. I emerged bare, surrendered, and shed of my power. Through the second of the 3, I ran, not so fast that the skin blistered and peeled off my body. I emerged tissue seared, muscles freed of the painfulness of human contact. Through the third of the 3, I walked, so slowly that my flesh cooked and fell from bone. I emerged skeleton clean and white, completely freed of the burden of life and of loving. Old grandmother fire came then to lovingly gather these bones of disappointment, to render them into what was at last intended to be a broth of tears, succor to soothe other suffering hearts. These next few are what I humorously call my wilderness poems, because I took some wilderness training, but the wilderness was a half acre behind my house. But it became my whole world, and I just call it my inner wilderness poems. The first one's called Getting Lost. It is my greatest fear, getting lost, and I do that well. So each day I go out into the woods in order to lose myself. I have pushed further back to the wetlands, circled around the hummocks to find some upland with stone walls, long abandoned to the deer and other animals whose tracks I follow. While there is snow on the ground, I can pick up the tracings of my footsteps and find my way home. But one day, I hope home will become the forest, and all urgings to return the way I came will lose themselves to the larger meaning of why I am here and still searching. Tracings. Out of the edge of the hockomock, my teacher advises, don't look for what is not in front of you. Learn to see what is right here. I spy the point of a deer hoof, barely visible under a pile of leaf litter. I am thinking, this is the imprint of my life, one barely discernible mark amongst a sea of tracings. The hollow bone. Fool's crow advised, be like a hollow bone through which spirit can travel, eternal and enduring, clean and emptied of marrow, a vessel of the wind and passing souls. It is a good feeling to be left with only the essentials, a light pack, my knife, enough water and tack, a cylinder of bark chips and a bar of magnesium, a bear skin for cold nights under the stars. I am a hollow bone one might find on the path, wondering, who is that who remains? Wild turkey tracks. These tracks look like wild turkey. Either that or some prehistoric reptile who may double back and catch me from behind. But no, I see the tracks double back on themselves, looping around the bushes. I hear the evidence up in the branches of that pine over there, gobble, gobble, gobble. But the pattern of these tracks I follow, the pattern of my thoughts, my feelings, and my memories. I am thinking of all the choices I made for my heart that doubled back, tore it apart, and left it bleeding on the trail. And I worry that, like my friend, injured and crawling out of the hockomock, no one will find it, and even if they do, they will pass it by. So I reckon this heart of mine is now on its own, and I hope it has the strength to pull through. I'm alone out here. The trail has gone cold, and I don't know where to find it. This is a poem called The Colors of Your Life, and I wrote it in response to a wonderful piece of art by a brain injured. It was an event called Soaring Without Limits. And it reminds me of the depression that my clients struggle with. It's some sand dunes. And it's just a very compelling piece. The colorlessness of it, highlighted by some blue, reminded me of depression. It's called The Colors of Your Life. Hidden within the pale beiges and browns of dunes and beaches fading to twilight, your inner spirit is alive and reaches beyond a deadening darkness looming to extinguish that inner life. Remember that sand filters sorrow, renders the brown grasses of what used to be into evidence that you've endured. Dunes shift and change, but the roots of your presence hold, even as you drift and wander. Confusion grays the landscape, alters your steps, but brings forth from its mists a greening of new life. Don't despair. Pick a vantage point and hold to it. Gaze out to sea. Watch the little birds who nest, in spite of feet that crush fragile eggs. Cleave to hope. You will always be remembered here for your sorrow, but also for your courage and a recognition of who you are. The cloud did not remember, it lost itself in raindrops, as the raindrops failed to mark the distance of their fall. Alpine streams found certain pathways down the mountains as burgeoning rivers accepted mountain waters in their flow. The sea opened to the rivers and lost them in her boundlessness as the moon pulled the tides over shores in unconscious rhythms. The sun heated the oceans and consumed their substance as vapors rose coalescing into clouds on the cool winds. The winds carried memories of the raindrops to the mountains as a gentle mountain rainfall began again. This is a poem I wrote about my adolescent years when we're all fresh in the world of love. But that doesn't always go well, we'll see. Called The Jewelry Box. I have placed pieces of myself in this jewelry box along the way. I felt this twirling sunburst of rhinestones would catch your eye and remind you of sparkle and expressive smiles, the mystery of this Persian necklace blinking with crystalline green eyes, coy glances under sweetly curling curls. In the box is a small white stone on which was painted a red heart pressed into my wondering hand by the green man with a kiss. 2 little ivory blossoms that dangled from small, well-formed ears on amber wine-colored summer days now lie under the glass cover, waiting to be lifted from sleep. If the little silver rabbit pin could speak in my own soft, throaty voice and tell you of my fears, the jewelry box may never be opened again. Love is a mystery held in a jewelry box. It is found in small pieces of things held dear that lay on red velvet, so soft they cannot remember their own tears. I would wish for the tenderness of your finger gently lifting the lid. My last several poems, the first one is called Spider Woman in the Native American tradition. This is a shamanic healing prayer, and I wrote this for my brother-in-law who was dying of lymphoma, and he wanted to stay a while longer, and so I asked Spider Woman, who's a great creator goddess of the Southwest tribes, if she would help because she governs the web, and lymphoma is a web of cancer in the body through the organs. So I thought she'd know what to do. But she is a dark goddess, so we had to be careful. So I kept her in check. It's called Spider Woman. Spider Woman, this is a prayer. I'm asking you to search for one of your fatal webs and destroy it. If you agree to do this, I will tell you how beautiful you are until you abandon the darkness of hidden and terrifying things and come with me. I will ask you to sit atop my arm and travel with me to the core of the world, for I am tired of thinking of him dying in our arms, leaving us to smell the scent of summer flowers without him. He told me they could not remove his lymphoma, They said it was a fine tracery of spun ill will spreading through his liver to mock his beginnings as an abandoned child. But I know he is not made of stuff that can be cast away or thrown aside, and I want you to see that. So if you take care, I will place you in his ear. Together we shall look through his memories, and you can learn of what love he has made. Then even you who have captured so much life and death within your loom of fate will shed tears to think he might not remain. Spider-Woman, I ask of you a boon. I would ask for him one more set of seasons and twice a half-dozen moons. For you are lovelier than the palest and most softly formed of humankind. I know you will journey with me to find the web that draws him down, for I do not want to meet the winter without him, to harvest his garden and leave it for the next spring, carefully sown. And that's exactly how long he continued to live. My next poem is very much about me and my nature. And all my friends laugh about this because that can be very difficult. But anyway, do not presume to know a woman. Do not presume to know a woman if you do not know the sea. Endless activity, even in stillness, grooming the shore, combing out the tendrils of seaweeds, seeking out the vulnerability of the shoreline, giving life and taking it away. The colors of her moods shift and change, blue with calm lucidity, slate gray in her despair, a deep green with steady purpose, frothy white with agitation. She bears the conscious endeavors of man on the tossing form of her unconsciousness, briefly trysting, again the only wedding that can be consummated at the bottom of the sea. She is bound in her rhythm to the waxing and waning of her lunar nature. She loves and then abandons her progeny, strung within a shimmering placenta along miles of shoreline, teeming with life, quivering in tidal pools and numberless among grains of sand. Do not presume to know a woman if you do not know the sea. You must surrender heart and soul in her embrace, plunge naked into the depths of being and formlessness, ride the surge of emotion, and merge with the changing nature of your fate. My last poem is my life cycle. I'm referring to the Green Man. The Green Man is a creative energy in nature with whom I merge in my healing work. He gives me a lot of energy to heal people with. So he's my companion in this poem from my childhood on to my death. This is called Harvest. When as a child I first met you, I found a bale of hay, spread it under the spruce tree, and lay there a prisoner, imagining you might release me. When as a young girl I encountered you again, I found a sheaf of barley in which a fairy dwelled, hid it under the attic stairs, and wished with all my heart you might enchant me. When as a young woman you came to me in a dream, I found a basket of corn, baked with it a fragrant bread, and left it under the full moon, yearning for your lips to kiss me. Now, in middle age, I still yearn for you, and I have grown my own flax to weave a sheath around my aging body and veil the power that I have become, welcoming the Green Man home to me again. In old age, I will remember you and carefully store the tubers I have drawn from soil blackened by the passage of time to nurture memories of joys and intimacies had, knowing that in the soil that bore so well, you will tenderly bury me and grow my grain again. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Louise. Some of your early discussion reminded me of a discussion in our meditation group. Yes. I appreciate your work very much, and I also appreciate the fact that the very first open mic we had, it was so well supported by well-established artists in the area like Andy and Judy and Louise and Rich Burry. They were all here for the first one. Rich Berg is our next artist, and he is a poet and a photographer. He's also an advocate for the arts and a personal coach. He produces and hosts the monthly cable TV program For the Love of Words, and is one of the hosts of the Brockton Library Poetry Series, and is the music coordinator for Poetry, the Art of Words in Plymouth. He's a busy man. Rich, his poem World Smiles has been the opening of the South of Boston Poetry newsletter since 2014. He performs his poetry and storytelling at various venues, MCs community events, and plays the role of Edgar Allan Poe at the Allan Poe Night at the Ames Mansion Library, Borderland State Park in Easton. Rich is a brain injury survivor and advocates for the Brain Injury Association as well as for Safe Roads Alliance. He owes half of his creative success to his witty, adoring, and beautiful wife who is with us here this afternoon. So a round of applause for you, wife.
Well, thank you all. Thank you all for coming out. It is an honor to share the stage with Louise and Mike, two people that I've worked with in the past. And it is a great honor to be in this building and to feature for my girlfriend Ethel with my wife here is just marvelous. She sends me an email, and even when I'm busy, I have to read it right away. So I write about everything. I have hundreds of poems that aren't finished. And with this brain injury thing, for me to keep focused, I have a folder on the computer. It says PT, not now. And I put stuff in there that I don't look at, because if you see the title, when you're looking for something, you start thinking, you can't help it. So a lot of stuff goes in PT, not now. I had a different name for it, but I thought I should lighten it up. So my first piece is creation. In the beginning, there was music in the cosmos. Then, in a celestial celebration, the notes created humans so they could enjoy the music, and bestowed upon them the greatest of all gifts, the power of creative expression. The artist is born. This is no ordinary power, cradling heartstrings and feelings of sometimes displaced emotional spaces and places that maybe we want to leave alone. When the artist feels the power, I mean really feels the power, all universal and invincible, a familiar dance of sparkling symbolism. What I'm trying to say here is, it's the holy and moly, the good and golly Miss Molly. It's a download, a ringtone, an MP3, an album or an old CD. The blues Major Tom and rapper girl Joe, or a quick little ditty from a Broadway show. It's that song buzzing round and round in your head, a jingle jangle melody and everything from your MTV. It's the hip and the hippie, the flapper and the rapper, the barroom, the bedroom, and of course the morning after. It's the soul of soul that makes you crave that move and that when you find your groove. Oh, it's problematic, emphatic, and full of innuendo, iconic, moronic, with blistering bravado. Those parables and prophets of mystical flight, for these are the things that go bump in the night, of sonnets and allegory and psalms that don't rhyme, of metaphor and imagery, in verse and sublime. Because everybody rocks and everybody rolls and everyone's got a story to tell. And in this day, this modern day, poetry and music tell that story oh so well. So sing us a song or recite loud and strong, or peacefully as you drift off to sleep. Back to that place where your giggles giggled and your riddles riddled, or tears rolled down your face, tucked away not for long, brought back in poetry and song. These memories we shall forever keep. If you haven't noticed, I love being a poet. This next piece, and I don't know how I got this piece going, but I did. In poetry, we trust. I love being a poet because I can be myself. If I don't want to, I can be someone else. I can dress in all black and say, "Hi, I'm Johnny Cash." Or be a little Elvis-y and say, thank you very much. I can jump, shout, and boogie anytime, any place, whether I'm 37 or 57. I love rock and roll, even if I bust a move to rap, imitate Fred Astaire with a cane and a hat, or snap my fingers to Frank and the Rat Pack. Today, I can say I feel good. But it wasn't always this way. Because that uneasy heartbeat that makes you tired during the day but unable to sleep at night means something. Because I speak the truth, and if it scares you, too bad. And if it makes you cry, you know I'm right there crying with you. Because your story needs to be told, no matter how difficult. Because a lonely, sick, or afraid person might hear my words. And for a moment, if only for a moment, dream of a better world. I want to bring that better world to the world every day. I can ride the insane train of our runaway lives, be propelled through the universe, transcend prejudice around the world, and still end up right here with you. If you've lost your way or need a strong voice, take my words. Everyone deserves a choice. Quiet voices needn't be quiet anymore. I love being a poet because nothing compares to the first light of day across the ocean at 3:30 a.m. Its magnificence stirs my soul. It teaches me to love myself like no one else ever could. It's better than pills, and it allows me to love my woman like no one else better or should. I love being a poet because the more I write, the more I read. The more I read, the more I know, the better it will go. Because when things go bad, I am sad. When things go well, you can tell. So I'll keep on writing happy or sad, and especially if I'm mad. But if I'm overjoyed, don't think I'm going to let that go. Oh, no. Because the more I care, the more I share. That makes all the difference. I love being a poet because I can soar on those mighty wings of inspiration till there's no tomorrow. Because it lights a dark day, takes the pain away, and is by far the most precious thing that ever came our way. I love being a poet for the love of poetry. For the love of poetry. And I know you all feel it. I sure do. And that, my friends, is why I share my poetry with you. I can't remember to go to the bank when I have the money in my hand. I can't remember where we're going without asking my wife, not just twice, maybe 3 times. But this stuff gets in me, and hopefully it's consistent and good. This next piece, how many people here have been to a poetry slam? How many people have participated in the slam? 1. How many people have absolutely no clue what a poetry slam is? Yeah, all it is, it's competitive performance poetry. And you get rated and scored and all that. It's like, it's serious, but it's not serious, and it's all about just performing. And then last person standing wins. So that's the nuts and bolts of it. This piece is called American Poetry Slam. Welcome to the American Poetry Slam. That high and low, fast and slow, linguistic lightning unforgettable show. It's the way we do what we do, not the who versus who. In verb verse to traverse the adverb and reverse the verse to a verse. And pitch the pitch with interval of syllable against the pretense of past, present, and future tense. The suspense of style and substance makes for an intense oratory performance. From coast to coast, it's the lip-smacking, supreme word throwdown. Behind the swagger and sway and the hip-hop lyric drop is the theme that screams in dream scenes. How long will the homeless be homeless? Women and children subject to rape and abuse. And when will sexual and gender preference carry the full weight and power of American equality? As we continue healing the breach found in civil action, criminal action, class action, lack of class, kick in the ass for anyone still being an ass. A new world order is in order to reorder the disorder for the stability and civility of society. So we're a little verbose, outspoken even, possessive with the imperative. In a nation where no one can tell you what to think, a poet can give you something to think about. While we're clipping it, flipping it, hip-hopping, flip-flopping, starting and stopping it, creating an ocean of commotion with our devotion to emotion. Freedom of expression, the foundation of democracy. That's the America I want the world to see. This poem came about, Ethel mentioned that I'm a photographer. My years, and my other poem about being at the beach at 3:30 a.m. And this is where this poem came from, but after hundreds of hours of being out there at that time. Infinite journey. Darkness dances between parallel atmospheres, surrendering its breath to dawn. The scattering illumination of twilight gracefully gives birth to a new day, as the first ray of light cascades over the horizon, meeting me at its shore. This eternal rising, an ever-present sacred energy, calming something mature. Here, in quiet contemplation, I am by myself, just myself, but never alone. Life is an art form, an epic voyage of rediscovering the artist as work of art. Weathering the storm is par for the course. When the storms brew in dark clouds in tow, and the wind's howling, surely you know it's a matter of time before a swift flashing rain sweeps down on you hard with a grip like a chain. No one plans to be there. But when you're there, you know it. A turbulent past must be released from deep in the mansions of your soul, where dark hearts dispel midnight dreams, where crying, the ultimate human emotion, resides, where healing becomes wisdom, and wisdom becomes strength. The collective past always pales in comparison to the future. It's the genius of being. Before the beginning, there was nothing. In the beginning, there was something. In the end, there will again be nothing. In between is everything. Embrace this moment, because the rest of your life is always 100%. Thank you. Next piece is Rich Rap. Caution, when I'm flash rapping, front talking, sharp shooting. No remix clip or lyric trick. Front stroke, backstroke, side stroke, no joke. Serious to delirious, I am busting loose. Rich rapping, the anti-discriminator, the culture barrier breaker rehabilitator. We come from tough times, broken homes, and too much alone. Seeking thrills with booze and pills and getting stoned. We speak with despicable language, but never lose sight of our children. We lyricize provocative attitude while teaching the world how to freestyle, how to get real low, how to shake that mind into a planetary orbit better than any university degree you ever had, real or imagined. We are the multisyllabic, rhythmically significant, critical bit of wit that does more for race relations than any act of Congress. So chuck it at the door and shut it, as we genuflect and show you how to hammer the hammer that makes the it worth the it to spit. Because it is what it is, except when it isn't what it is, was never what it was. So we redefined what it is that made it what it was and set it straight. And after some litigation, we can say all those real bad words on stage and in our recordings if we want to. But we don't always want to, because that wouldn't be nice. And I can be real nice. I'd throw a big old soiree at the cafe. We'd drink to this, we'd eat to this, drink to that, chit and chat, and fill the nights with open mics and rhyme and tide, inspired by your beautiful poetic voices. And we'd all be laughing and crying and just spilling out emotion all over the place. And when we're done, we'd all be hugging and sighing and saying goodbye. But before we do say goodbye, promise, you'll give these words the good home that they deserve, so they can grow up strong, proud, role models for future generations. How much time do we have left? I made one mistake in my notes. 6 minutes. I'm going to squeeze 2 poems in. 21 Guns is my salute to soldiers. 21 guns under the red, white, and blue. Airborne ICU, breathing you. 20 units, stop the damn bleeding. Diminished pulse, another transfusion. Chopper spinning into confusion. No movie magic, no illusion. No take 2, and a combat rescue. Descent, 400 feet, 200 feet, minus 100, sir. Morphine drip, slip, trip, and holler. Displaced IV and cervical collar. Failing lung and lacerated face. Another marker in the death race. Smackdown into base camp perimeter. Shattered lung and punctured leg. Cut, clamp, amputate. Soldier dies, close eyes, we cry. The Army, Navy, and Air Force, Marines, Coast Guard, and Reserves keep it over there, not here. The velocity atrocity, every time someone dies, even enemy eyes, they cry in their heart and die a little too. Don't like it, despise it, must be another way. But until then, time and again, they are the heroes defending our freedom from start till the end. When does it become peace and democracy? In what generation? I'm sorry anyone has to be at war. More sorry, some don't come home. You get the call, a parent's nightmare, realizing your soldier child became an angel through a dedication beyond words. I'm the mother of, the father of, the sister and the brother of, the son, the daughter, the grandparent of, the boyfriend, the girlfriend, the best friend of, the teacher and the officer of. These soldier children are our future veterans. Save the economy and bail out Wall Street. Play the lobbyist and screw Main Street, but don't ever consider letting a vet worry about housing, health care, or enough to eat. 21 guns under the red, white, and blue. His boots came home alone. Both hands cold. His flag I fold. Both hands cold. His tags I hold. Both hands cold. One more year. He'll never be that old. 21 guns. Thank you. And in closing, freedom. We live in a time of unparalleled personal freedom and individual power of voice. Worse than it being suppressed is taking it for granted. We must always support and defend the voice of the people, even when its opinion steadfast opposes our own. There's evolution, pollution, and the Constitution, healthcare, welfare, and warfare, indiscretion, confession, and witness protection, government spying and racial profiling, greed and hypocrisy. And let's not forget the iconic factories and warehouses, the truck stops and coffee shops of those that made in the USA. We interrupt this poem for a special announcement. Your manufacturing jobs have all been shipped overseas. We apologize for any inconvenience and want you to know it's nothing personal. Nothing personal. Flash forward to the censorship games. Whiteout, leave out, blackout. Pixelization, politification, and propaganda. When all else fails, silence. When democracy is put to the test, Americans rise to the occasion, for they know the unscrupulous will always capitalize on the weakness of others. It's the word you've heard 1,000 times before, from the Oval Office to the Senate floor, the supreme law of the land you can hold in your hand to take a stand without reprimand. Freedom is quite possibly the most powerful word in the world. And we carry that freedom so boldly on our American shoulders that it makes the Stars and Stripes a constant reminder to support and defend that freedom for those fortunate enough to have it, those who died in its honor, and those, domestic and foreign, whose dreams have yet to be realized, that we never, ever forget them and what it truly means to be an American with freedom. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Ethel.
Thank you very much.
I love this woman.
I don't blame you for loving her. You could laugh. Talk about a difference. The two ends of the spectrum in terms of, well, in some ways. I won't get too technical. But thank you so much, Rich and Louise. I could say more, but I better not because time is an issue. The next presenter is Mike Laureano. Mike is from Fall River, and I first met him at the International House in Providence when people were doing readings of poetry and singer-songwriting presentations for a winter solstice. And I read a Fado-style poem about things past and precious in my family, and Mike backed me up on the guitar. So that was how we met each other. And I keep seeing him at events like this. So he's featuring for us today. He's from Fall River, which is a mill town infamous for its Lizzie Borden resident and the axe, and famous for its chow mein sandwiches. He is a winner of the 2017 Wildflower Texas Songwriting Contest and the 2016 Woody Guthrie Songwriting Contest. Very nice. He is a passionate performer, and his songs are visceral and evocative. Dave Palmater, folk DJ of WUMB Boston Public Radio, calls Mike Fall River's Poet Laureate. Mike is proud of his roots, and many of his songs deal with his gritty blue-collar hometown and the lives of his family and friends. He has released 3 albums to date, and I think they're on the back table, Mike? And there are other albums on the back table too, CDs. Thank you, Mike.
Thank you, Ethel. I owe everything to my wife, 100%. Thank you for doing this open mic here. It's always an honor to play with poets. So like Ethel said, I come from Fall River, Mass, and in particular, I come from the south end of Fall River. And you know you're in the south end of Fall River when on every front lawn there's that lovely tribute to the Virgin Mary. You know what I'm talking about, right? The Mary on the half shell, right? So clawfoot bathtub painted a lovely shade of powder blue on the inside, buried halfway in the ground on its end with a statue of the Virgin Mary inside with her arms held out as if to say, why me? And if one are good, 2 are better. So my grandmother thought she had 2 of these things on her front lawn, 10 feet apart, facing one another. Dueling Marys. And it was about this time of the year that she'd get out there on her hands and knees and sort of wash off the grime from winter off Mary's face. So in honor of my grandmother's favorite season and the miracles of springtime, now that the snow is gone, Crocuses kiss the sun. The cardinal sings to his fair one in the key of April rapture. Cherry blossoms fill the air, eternal hope everywhere. The muses dance, they draw you near, they lead, you follow after. Spring will have you flying. She'll lift you in her arms. Spring will have you smiling. She's the perfect song. In the dew of the morn, with daffodils she sings along to a mockingbird's lusty song. The month of May is Eden. A cotton dress, a June breeze, a blessed gust reveals her knees. The faintest blush, the sweetest tease, nectar of the season. Spring will have you flying. She'll lift you in her arms. Spring will have you smiling. She's the perfect song. She's the perfect song. Thank you. So any Leonard Cohen fans out there? Some people. For those of you who don't know who Leonard Cohen was, he was a Montreal's finest poet, and then he became a songwriter sort of later in his life. He passed away in I think a couple of years ago. But before he passed away, I was fortunate enough to get to see him perform in Boston. And the hall was packed with people of all ages. In fact, sitting right in front of me was this grandfather and his grandson. And I could overhear their conversation, and the grandson was about 15 years old, and the grandfather kept telling him that he was in for a real treat. And so the show began, and with every great line that Leonard delivered, the young kid sort of slapped his forehead like that, And he did it so much that I thought for sure by the end of the show that his head would be permanently slanted back, But the real treat was mine, because I got to experience Leonard Cohen all over again, through the eyes and ears of this youngster. So I wrote this for Brother Leonard when he passed. It's called Brother Leonard. November is grieving, Brother Leonard, you're leaving. Will they bury you with a new felt hat? Your house is in order, you'll soon cross the border, impeccably dressed in black. There'll be caviar and an open bar when you pass through that door and enter the Tower of Song. A glass of Bordeaux, a Marlboro, you'll be coughing with Hank Williams till dawn. You were born in a suit, it's your class attribute, old school honor and pride. You did not like your voice, but you had no choice. You were holy and broken inside. And we are so grateful that you were able to drop to your knees and sing, to hold it up to the light and testify, to be free as a songbird in spring. You're heading back home on the wings of a poem. Break open a hole in the sky. When old Montreal wraps you up in her shawl, you will arrive. The St. Lawrence River will sparkle like silver. The bells of Notre Dame will ring. Our Lady of the Harbor will pray in your hour, and a drunk in the choir will sing. November is grieving, Brother Leonard is leaving through a crack of light in the sky. Fall River is definitely the poet laureate of Fall River is not me. It's Michael Troy. You guys know of Michael Troy or heard of him? So Michael Troy is a wonderful songwriter and a poet. And first time I met him was at an open mic at Club Passim in Cambridge in 1998. And he was on stage introducing one of his songs. And the first thing that really annoyed me was that he was wearing my outfit. All guys from Fall River in the South End wear caps and vests. But seriously, right away I recognized that dialect all too well, you know. And when he got off the stage, I approached him and I asked him where he was from. And he said Somerset. And I thought, not so quick, you know. I said, where were you born? And he got a little nervous at that, and he kind of leaned forward closer to me, and he kind of put his head down, and shamefully he said, Fall River. And of course, I knew right away, you know, what he meant. And I let him sweat it out for a few minutes, and then I told him I also was from Fall River. And, you know, we've talked and come to find out he lived on a street that was, you know, a block away from me. But he was 10 years older than me, so we didn't know one another growing up. Anyway, he didn't have a CD out, so I recorded his first CD for him, and we became fast friends. And he passed away of cancer in 2015, and about a month or so before he passed, he gave me a call and said, let's go out for a ride in your old car. I have an old 1950 Chevrolet. So that's sort of where the song starts. And do yourself a favor if you've never heard of Mike, Google him and check his music out. He's really great. So the other thing is his name is Mike Manuels. No one from Portuguese person is called Troy. But he took the stage name Troy because Fall River in the early 1800s changed its name from Fall River to Troy, and then 30 years later changed it back. But Mike identified himself so closely with his hometown that that was his stage name. I said a prayer for my friend, he's hanging tough. He always said keep the faith, and it served him well enough. We'll take one more ride in my 50 Chevrolet. Go back in time before the light begins to fade. He greets me with a bear hug, his hair is thin. Though he's lost his lion's mane, he's still a king. The old Chevy groans, but she won't let us down. I ask him where he wants to go. He says, our hometown. Now we're rolling along down these Fall River hills. He and the Chevy are holding on still. Hard knocks and granite blocks and these tired old mills we call home. The car's got no seat belts, it don't matter to him. There's worse ways to die, he says, then he laughs like a fisherman. When life threw a punch, he knew what to do. He just kept on casting his hope into the blue. There's a push-button radio at his knee. The tubes hum, we sing along to a song from '63. Is this the 4th of July? Are we in a parade? Is this the last time we get to feel this way? And we're rolling along down these Fall River hills. He and the Chevy are holding on still. Hard knocks and granite blocks and these tired old mills we called home. There's pride in a name for the town you were born. You can't rip the roots out of what's bred in the bone. In 1804 our city was called Troy. You can't take the Fall River out of a boy. All those cliches and sympathy cards, holding back the tears, trying so hard to find a way to say goodbye to you. Guys from our hood, don't cry, that ain't true. Now you're rolling along down these Fall River hills. You and the Chevy, forever still. Hard knocks and granite blocks and these tired old mills you called home. Oh, you are home. Thank you. I'll do one more or so. I belong to the Rhode Island Songwriters Association. I think so, Andy and Judy and others. It's a great organization to belong to if you're a songwriter. You should consider joining it if you already haven't. They do several different things. You get to play in different shows, in the rounds, and there's critique sessions and good feedback, and of course a great way to bond with the songwriting community. One of the things we do, and I don't know if the poets do it when they do an in the round thing, but it's kind of cool. You play 4 songs each, 3 people. You'll take turns playing 4 songs. But one of the songs that they'll play in the round will be a song based on a theme that the audience suggests. So what will happen is there'll be a performance, and then they'll hand out little slips of paper to the audience members, and they'll write down phrases like blue skies or Troy, something like that, and then they'll gather them up and vote on them, and then whatever the phrase is or the theme or the prompt is, the next songwriters next month will have to write a song based on that. So on that prompt. No, not on the spot. That'd be interesting. That'd be really interesting. Yeah, that'd be scary. That could be ugly footage, actually. But no, but that's a good idea. We'll have to do that one. That'll be like the extreme song prompt of it. So I forget. I think I did this in December or November. I was participating in one of these, and the prompt that the audience the month before had chosen was the evolution of truth. So anyway, this was my ditty to that contribution. The truth of the matter is a moving target, and the naked truth is we all kick the bucket. It's defined by circumstance and point of view. What we once thought false can now be true. There's a grain in some and none in another. There's the God's honest and nothing but the. It's stretched, it hides, it's right and wrong. Pinocchio's nose could write this song. And that, my friend, is the truth. So long. Thank you. As Ethel said, I met her at the International House in Providence, and this past year I was invited back to join them join the poets in a winter solstice poetry event. I was, the token songwriter and folk singer, and I got to thinking about the past year and and all we had to endure, what with all the Harvey Weinsteins of the world and the political situation in Washington, and then I got to thinking about winter solstice and how it marks that turning point of the year where the dark days become lighter. So this is called December. Thank you again, Ethel, for inviting me. I'm honored to be here. I'm also looking forward to hearing everyone else too. December closed her eyes, blew out the candle, went to sleep to find some peace of mind. The year had been unkind, manhandled. She reached beyond her grief for one good sign. As days grow shorter, hope burns longer. Darkness cannot fight against the light. Gather in love, fan the embers, help December's winter sun shine above. Weary, frightened doves on the icy branches, there are hawks who have no heart peering down. But there is a holly bush past the cold park benches, where the old, the sick, the weak are safe and warm. As days grow longer, hope burns stronger. Darkness cannot fight against the light. Gather in love, fan the embers, help December's winter sun shine above. Help December's winter sun shine above. Thank you.
What a lovely man. You hear so much in the news about nasty men. Let's hear it for good men. Thank you both, Rich and Mike, very much. And Andy and Jack and all the rest of you men. Our next performer will be Sean. Are you fairly ready? Sean Harrihy, who is a comedy musician. And then after that, it will be Jonathan Huggan. Sean's going to take a couple of minutes to set up.
All right. All set? Okay, hi, my name is Sean Harrigy. Thank you for everyone that put on this event. It's an honor for me to be here. My grandfather and my great uncle spent a lot of time here at the museum. And this first piece is called I Like Corn. Yeah, corn, C-O-R-N. Some people get it confused with something else, so it's corn. And it goes a little something like this. I like corn, I like corn, I like corn, morning. I like corn, I like corn, I like corn, evening. I like corn, I like corn, I like corn, morning. I like corn, I like corn, I like corn, evening. I like corn all the time. I like corn to unwind. I like corn with a glass of wine. Get a little tipsy, play a little frisbee. I like corn all the time. I like corn to unwind. I like corn with a glass of wine. Get a little tipsy, play a little frisbee. I like corn, I like corn, I like corn, morning. I like corn, what? I like corn, what? I like corn, what? Evening. I like corn, yes, I like corn, yes, I like corn, yes, morning. I like corn, I like corn, I like corn, evening. Some people say you should grow tomatoes. I'm like, no, I'm like, no. Some people say you should grow some lettuce, and I'm like, no, I'm like, no. Some people say, yo, grow a couple onions, and I'm like, no, I'm like, no. Some people say you should grow some corn, and I'm like, yeah, I'm like, yeah, 'cause I like corn, what? I like corn, what? I like corn, what? Morning. I like corn, I like corn, I like corn, evening. I like corn, everybody, I like corn, I like corn, morning. Who likes I like corn, I like corn, I like corn, evening. Thank you. The next piece is titled Mountain Dew. The sound is on 30. The style is on 10, just for those of you taking notes. And the tempo is on 100. Now, this song is based on a mountain in New Hampshire, where you can go and you can see the dew on the grass in the morning, so called Mountain Dew. It's based on a true story, and it goes a little something like this. feel free to rock out. I love you, Mountain Dew. I said, I love you, Mountain Dew. When you eventually go away, I won't put you in a grave because I love you, Mountain Dew. I said, I love you, Mountain Dew. Some people say drink a lot, it takes away your sperm, but you can't believe what Chris Chambers says because I love you, Mountain Dew. I said, I love you, Mountain Dew. Can't get enough of you, yeah, even if I'm tangled up. All right, gonna sing the chorus one more time. If you know the words, feel free to sing along. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, and a 4. I said, I love you. Everybody sing Mountain Dew. Everybody say, I love you. Yes, I do. Mountain Dew. Thank you.
I'll just share just a tad about my son Jonathan. I told him wasn't going to speak for him. He uses an augmentative communication device. Jonathan, although he has quadriplegia, he's a really smart guy, very talented. I'll just share a personal story about him. When he was probably around 6 months old, and I was rocking him one beautiful sunny autumn morning just in the rocking chair, and things had calmed down from him being in the hospital, in and out. He was very, very ill as an infant, but you know, we just came to a place where I wasn't quite sure about the future, and my prayer when he first went into the hospital, about 2 weeks old, was I asked God that he would be aware of his environment. And God answered that prayer, and today I always say, now if I had just prayed, like, and can he walk and talk, and, you know, but all part of the plan, right? So this one autumn morning, it was just me and Jonathan in the house, and I was rocking him, and you know, I started humming, and I asked him to sing. I said, sing with Mama, Jonathan. And I heard something, and I was just like, at that point, he had lost his baby coos and all of that. And I rocked, and I asked him again to sing with me, and he responded. And then the third time, I asked him to sing with his mom, and there was an ah. And at that point, although I didn't know what the future held for him, I just had that sense that everything was going to be okay. So I've taken that story, I've helped my son to just go ahead and use his gifts and his talents and to create a life for himself. So for the past good 20 years, he's 25, but for the past 20 years, we've actually been working on a vision that my husband and I had created for him, and eventually that vision became his own. And his brother and sister have helped him a great deal, but he's into photography, and Mom will be quiet and you can share your own story, okay? So this is actually the first time that he's presented using the communication device with a PowerPoint. The goal is for him to do the whole thing using his augmented communication device. So let's see what happens. All right, Jonathan, let's get this on. Thanking Ethel so much for believing in you. You might want to just cover that, Denise. Okay. We're going to have his support person, Denise, help us out. All right.
Read this first, instead of the picture, read that.
And he
Yeah.
uses his eyes.
Picture's up there.
Should have mentioned that. He's using his eyes to activate his communication device. So, Sister Technology.
My name is Jonathan
Oh,
Huggin.
how do I turn this
I
off?
live in
I don't wanna-
Taunton.
I don't want to.
I am a photographer
That's
and music composer.
Let me just see. A little bit longer. Communication as well. Might as well share the whole story, Jonathan. He communicates in various ways. When he's nervous, he does laugh, which is why he went outside. All right.
All right, let's try this one more time. I'm gonna read this here, okay?
My name is Jonathan Huggin. I live in Taunton. I am a photographer and music composer.
There you go.
I enjoy photography and getting outdoors to appreciate nature and the changing seasons. I travel throughout southeastern Mass and Rhode Island to capture my photos.
Okay.
Johnny, look.
Here's the picture. Here's the picture of your camera up there.
I own a Canon EOS Rebel T6S camera. It captures high-quality images.
Okay. This one.
I operate my camera using the remote control that fits in an eyeglass case modified to make it easier for me to operate the remote. You will notice a big button was placed on top of the case. When I hit this large button, a pin hits the remote control button. The name of my photography business is All Things Possible. I sell my photo art at artisan and craft fairs, from a website and through custom orders. I also display my photography at art galleries such as Trescott Street Gallery and Taunton Public Library. I love music. I take music lessons every week at Double Bar Music in Westport. I have composed 3 songs and now working on my 4th. A few years ago I debuted my first song called My Family at Open Mic Night at Rick's Music World.
Yep. Okay, it says now they're gonna play the video.
I hope you enjoy this video that displays some of my photos. The background music is one of the songs I composed. Thank you.
presenters will be Andy and Judy Daigle. And Andy and Judy you may know from the folk music circuit and also from the open mic circuit. And Judy actually grew up in Taunton and graduated from Taunton High School. And they now live in Bridgewater. Welcome, Andy and Judy. Singer-songwriters, and they also play folk and country, right?
Country-ish. Country-ish. We don't sing a lot of songs about trucks and motherhood and lost dogs. This first song is a song that came out. We're in New Jersey. We were speaking to a person after a show, and they said they grew up in a Sears and Roebuck kit house, and didn't know much about them. So I looked them up, and this song came about. It's called "Some Assembly Required." Ready? My Sears and Roebuck catalog of 1922 had an ad for something I could use, and I knew just what to do. The price was right and I could pay it off, so I signed on the bottom line. My dream number 204 would very soon be mine. It was shipped in a separate railroad car to the depot right downtown. It was marked Modern Home, honor built by a company most renowned. At the building site, my friends and I were planning, making speeches. I thought it seemed a little weird to have my house delivered in pieces. It's my home, my castle on the hill. No fancy brick or a spire. The deed to my American dream. Said some assembly required. I picked a spot to build the house, a lot among the clover. There's 30,000 parts in all, I hope there's none left over. We started in to raise the walls as the breeze began to blow. As the creek don't rise, will be done before the snow. It's my home, my castle on the hill. No fancy brick or a spire. The deed to my American dream. Said some assembly required. All right. It took all I had to buy this house and $3,000 cash. Today my Sears and Roebuck home is a bargain on the wing. It's a testament to a bygone time when Sears could sell anything. Well, it's my home, my castle on the hill. No fancy brick, pool or a spire. The deed to my American dream. Said some assembly required. Yeah, it's my home, my castle on the hill. No fancy brick, pool or a spire. The deed to my American dream. Said some assembly required. The deed to my American dream. Said some assembly required. Thank you. Thanks very much. Let's throw that anywhere.
The next song is actually a sequel. I had written a song a few years back set in the 1850s about a girl who answered the want ads in New York City to go to marry a guy in Omaha, Nebraska. So, and it was her journey out there. So people would always ask us what happened to her when she got there. So this is the sequel. It's 30 years later. She's still there, and the descendants are still on the farm now. And this is her thinking back over how they had a very unconventional courting. And with everything they went through and all their time together, she wouldn't change a thing. And it's called I Wouldn't Change a Thing. Winter is here on the prairie, wrapped us in her coat of white. Not much to do but see it through, sitting here by the firelight. They say that home is where the heart is. Mine is sitting here with you. It's safe and warm, sheltered from the storm, surrounded by your love so true. We didn't start out as lovers do, flying high among the stars. But at the end of the line you were waiting, and I wouldn't change a thing. Your strong and steady, gentle ways, a guiding light through troubled times. We've been through it all, the highs and the falls, always standing side by side. We didn't start out as lovers do, flying high among the stars. But at the end of the line you were waiting, and I wouldn't change a thing. We took a chance, reaching out across the miles. Did you ever think it would be like this? So many years ago, so much we didn't know, but our love did grow. We didn't start out as lovers do, flying high among the stars. At the end of the line you were waiting, and I wouldn't change a thing. We didn't start out as lovers do, flying high among the stars. At the end of the line you were waiting, and I wouldn't change a thing. No, I wouldn't change a thing.
Thank you very much. Thanks, Arthur.
It's always great to have Andy and Judy. And when we need them, they're helpful, like with mics, and this mic system isn't set up today, but when we met across the street, they were so helpful. Jack Faniff, you're next.
Really?
And Jack is a famous and legendary art teacher.
Legend.
He's also an artist and somewhat of a poet, and he plays folk music.
Does it
So,
all.
welcome, Jack Faniff. He is the brother of the famous Bob Faniff, who was a folk singer in the
She's
area.
a real folk singer.
Yeah.
Yeah, Barb's 10 years old, younger than me.
Oh, you said that.
And I remember, I'm old, so I sit down. You have to make believe you're home in my family room. When my wife lets me, she shuts the door. And I stay out there and I fool around.
Come closer to us, Jack.
Okay, all right. Barbara and I went to Sanders Theater about, I don't know how many years ago, and we saw this lady. She was this weird little girl from down south, and she had some really crazy songs, a funny little voice and stuff like that. And she's become famous later in life because this particular song was the theme song for a TV show or an HBO thing. I never saw it, but one of my favorite songs right now. Everybody's wondering, gotta get the right key, wait a minute. Everybody's wondering what and where they all came from. Everybody's worrying about where they're gonna go when the whole thing's done. But no one knows for certain, so it's all the same to me. I think I'll just let the mystery be. Some say once you're gone forever. Some say you're gonna come back. Some say you rest in the arms of the Savior if in sinful ways you lacked. Some say you're coming back in a garden, bunch of carrots, little sweet peas. I think I'll just let the mystery be. Some say you're gone to a place called glory, and I ain't saying it ain't a fact. But I've heard that I'm on the road to purgatory, and I don't like the sound of that. I believe in love, and I live my life accordingly. But I choose to let the mystery be. Everybody's wondering what and where they all came from. Everybody's worried about where they're gonna go when the whole thing's done. But no one knows for certain, it's all the same to me. I think I'll just let the mystery be. Woohoo! I love mystery. I really love my life is a mystery. I think all of our lives are mysteries, right? But this, I actually wrote this weird song because I was a philosophy major in college, philosophy major and art major, so it was a really crazy mixed up thing. Mike, is that in tune? I don't think so. Almost in tune. It's good enough, right? I only have 7 minutes. This became my love affair of nothing. I don't know why. I love nothing. This came from that thing. Everything changes, but nothing remains the same. Everything changes, but nothing remains the same. Try to enjoy the changes. Try to learn from the changes. Try to love the changes. But I want things to stay the same. I want things to stay the same. Sorry. Everything changes, but nothing remains the same. Everything changes, but nothing remains the same. Try to enjoy the nothing. Try to learn from the nothing. Try to love the nothing. But I want things to stay the same. But I want things to stay the same. Sorry. Everything changes, but nothing remains the same. Everything changes, but nothing. Wait a minute. There's nothing more real than nothing. In fact, there's no such thing as nothing. Even nothing is something. It changes and changes. Everything changes and nothing remains the same. Everything changes and nothing remains the same. Thank you, Ethel.
Thank you for letting me do this.
Thank you, Jack Fanner. And our last presenter will be Sandra Borges, a local poet, who is also helping me with odds and ends for the open mic. Thank you, Sandy.
We're running a little late, so I'm just going to do a couple. This is called Post-Election Day, written November 9th, 2016. Can I bring this closer? I can use, okay, would you like, okay. Post-Election Day. A new country awakens me. As if hung over, I stumble out of bed. A beast jumps onto my back, his unctuous breath hot on my neck. Outside on the street, disbelief permeates the air. Startled eyes are everywhere. Like victims of trauma, we are being asked to accept the unacceptable. Like victims of trauma, we are being asked to believe the unbelievable. In the cafe, the beast is on TV, bellowing. His orange cartoon mane adds to the absurdity of his careless persuasions. I'm going to France, says the young woman next to me, her wide-eyed baby perched expectantly on her hip. While the child gums her cookie, the room begins to buzz with plans for escaping. I can't think of one for me. The beast's voice is roaring too loudly in my ears. The Women's March, January 21st, 2017. We carry our signs. They rumble as we walk. At first glimpse, my daughter gasps, grabs my hand hard. We wade in, find the rhythm. The streets are moving, flowing into a magenta ocean that today is Boston Common. 5 degrees below zero, January 19th, 2018. Here we are again, penning our placards, a whole year gone by. Hell, most certainly, has frozen over. Standing on our heads to gain perspective, we restate our complaints. Thank you.